Welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Kevin, and come play games with me. Well, not games with me specifically, but with you, with your friends. You know what? Whatever. It's a bad joke. It's not going to work. Anyway, so some short background before we really get into the meat of it. I've been in this hobby for about 20 years, and over this time, I've been in a leadership role for gaming groups across many different game systems, from Warhammer Fantasy Battle to Warhammer 40,000 for Malifaux, War Machine. I've been in this hobby and I've done a lot of stuff. I figure with the advent of 11th edition coming on that it's great to have people to play these games with. As a matter of fact, these games aren't really great unless you have somebody to play with. So I'm hoping to provide some guidance over this next series of videos over ways in which you can run your own gaming group and help keep it together and make it a fun and engaging environment. The very first principle and the most important thing, I think, is consistency. You need to pick a day of the week which you're going to gather, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, once a month, whatever it is that you can manage, and set that as the day in which you are going to gather to play whichever game it is. Going forward, I'm really going to be using Warhammer 40,000 as the main catalyst for this discussion, but these principles really do apply to any game that you want. This isn't unique to Warhammer. This isn't unique to Games Workshop. This can be done with any game, and specifically miniatures. And I think that that's really important. So consistency. I think that it's one of the best things that you can do for your own gaming group is to be consistent. People need to be able to depend on that they can show up and play a scheduled day and a scheduled time and know that there's going to be people to play with. If they don't know that, they're not going to come around. A good example from my history is our current Age of Sigmar group. For many, many months, and this is going back probably about 4 years ago, it was just me and my wife playing Age of Sigmar at the game store in the game room, and there weren't a whole lot of people that were interested in Age of Sigmar in this area at that time. We were, and we wanted people to play with, so we started coming to the game room and playing Age of Sigmar with each other. And slowly, over the course of time, because we were there for us, it was Tuesday. Every Tuesday for a few months, people knew that they could come and they would see us playing Age of Sigmar. And slowly, over the course of time, people heard about it. We would always publicize that we're playing through social media and just through talking to people while we were playing that, hey, we're going to be here every night, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Come and join us. And slowly, over the course of those months, people got interested in Age of Sigmar, and they came and they joined us. And we would take turns being the odd person out so that the other person would get to play. And our philosophy became that if you show up to play Age of Sigmar with us, you are going to get to play. There's no odd man out. There's no buy. There is, you get to play. And because of that consistency, our group has grown from just me and my wife playing in the back room to us running a GT here in our hometown that attracts 40 some odd people, which is awesome for Age of Sigmar. I think that that principle of consistency is by far the most important thing that you can do when you are looking to start your own gaming group. The second thing that I think is important is really making sure that you establish yourself as an authority figure for this game, which means having a good base of knowledge, being able to answer people's questions with confidence, being able to guide them in, hey, I just want to start in Age of Sigmar or Malifaux or War Machine. How do I do that? Well, having those answers available is really important for giving that guidance to people who do not know how to start, who need to know what purchases to make, because these hobbies are expensive. I don't care if it's War Machine where you can print most of your army, or if it's, Warhammer 40K where you buy stuff off the shelf. Regardless of how that comes about, these games are investments in your own time, and people don't want to be robbed of their time. So I really do think that establishing yourself as a knowledge base for that is really important. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to know everything. I think that that's not a realistic expectation to set for anybody on anything. But I do think that setting a standard of, well, I don't know, but let me find out for you, and actually following up on that, being that go-to person, will help establish your group as a place for people to come and play and learn. And one of the third principles that I think really helps specifically with miniatures, more than any other game, is setting a standard of quality. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, that doesn't mean that everything needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be a golden demon or crystal brush level of paint or anything like that. But what I do mean is that showing pride in the hobby, showing pride in your own army, in your own miniatures, and in the terrain. Miniatures games, a big part of what is a draw for miniatures games, and I think that this really gets downplayed quite a bit, is the appearance of terrain, the immersion that good terrain gives. And good terrain is intimidating, but it's not actually that hard to produce. As a matter of fact, we have a video on this channel here that shows you how to paint some terrain really effectively. And I'm going to point up here, and hopefully Cody puts the video link right here. He will. But all jokes aside, having a engaging and attractive looking place where the games happen in terms of on the tabletop itself physically is really important. People like to play where the game looks good. Now, that's not to say that you should gatekeep people from playing without painted miniatures, or that people are required to have a certain standard of paint in order to participate with you. I don't think that's a good idea, and I don't encourage that. I really do think that people should engage the hobby on their own terms and should be encouraged to engage with it as much as they want and at a pace in which they're comfortable. Some people just paint really slowly, and some people paint really fast. Some people paint really well, and some paint to a standard that they're happy with. And all of that you should be encouraging. But never should you keep anyone from playing just because their miniatures aren't painted or they're not painted well enough. And another thing, and this is for ourselves as community organizers, that I think is something to really keep in mind too, is pushing through discouragement. Those first few weeks, months in which you are trying to establish a gaming group for the game of your choice, it can be discouraging when nobody shows up. It can be discouraging when you set a date and a time for an event and nobody signs up. It sucks and it hurts. I get it. It's happened to me plenty of times. I've failed a lot, and I've succeeded enough times too to learn that of what to pull from those failures. And sometimes it's nothing you can control. A lot of times specifically in the miniatures gaming communities, it's busy dads and busy parents, and not everyone always has time to play with toy soldiers. And sometimes that means that you're going to not have a populated game night. And that's okay. That doesn't mean stop doing what you're doing. It doesn't mean change up everything at the drop of a hat when something doesn't go the way that you think it should. Now, on the other side of that coin, of course, is learning from your mistakes. If, say, you set Tuesday night as your game night and people just have a really hard time showing up consistently, well, figure out why. Find out if it's the time, find out if it's the day, and learn from that and change it. Don't change things too often. Don't change things all the time, because then, once again, that goes against the first principle of consistency. If something stops working, or if it doesn't work anymore, or if it doesn't work in the first place, take some time to take some notes, learn from it, and adapt. Make changes slowly over the course of time. Don't change things drastically, constantly. I think that those are really important principles. And we're going to explore a lot of these things more in depth as we continue on this series of videos, because this is something that means a lot to me. This is something that I truly love more than the specific game, more than the specific miniatures, more than the specific companies. I really love bringing people together to play these games. And I really want to help impart that wisdom to you guys too, and empower you guys to start your own communities and get people together to play, because this hobby is so unique and special that I think it's worth the time. I think it's worth the effort, and I think it's worth the disappointment and the pain and the learning that can come from it. So join me on this journey and look out for more videos in the future. If you like this content and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out our Patreon down below. It helps us every little bit to bring you this content and to bring more cool stuff more consistently. Thank you, and happy gaming.